All right, join us Friday night. We got a best of edition, Living Room Sports. If you missed any of our previous 3 months worth of Zoom interviews with some of the best names in Pittsburgh sports, you can join us 7:30 on KDKA-TV and CBSN Pittsburgh. All right, Chris, so you saw that schedule by Pitt. I think a lot of people have come to the conclusion Clemson and Notre Dame may play in the championship game in the ACC. Tell me your thoughts about Pitt, this schedule, and making another trip to Clemson where they've won before.
Well, the schedule, if you just like seeing good games, it should be sort of tonic, I think, for people. And who knows what that last game, that stray non-conference game, could entail for Pitt. But Louisville and Notre Dame at home, I think, are good matchups, especially, obviously, Notre Dame's just going to be fun to have them in town, even though people almost certainly won't be there. Clemson is obviously, you almost mark it down as just an automatic loss, and I know what they did there a couple of years ago with Chris Blewett and James Conner. Those guys aren't walking through that door. It's probably a two-loss schedule. Like, the thing that's interesting about this for me is this is Pat Narduzzi's make or break year. He's got all of these defensive players coming back. That's supposed to be his calling card. They are objectively a very good defense on paper and probably in practice. Everyone seems a lot higher on Kenny Pickett after the fact that he's going to have 2 straight years essentially running the same offense. In a make-or-break year, having to play this schedule with no cupcakes in the non-conference, I think, makes it very difficult for Pat Narduzzi. You find a way to go 9-2 somehow against that schedule, I think you will have answered a lot of questions if you're him.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. That'll be tough to do, but their defense is good enough to keep them in games, and we'll see what the offense can do. Rob in the Hill District joins us right now on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Hey, Rob.
Hey, listen, man, ain't no automatic loss to no Clemson. Well, we don't need James Conner and them to come through that door. We got the #1 ranked defense in the whole ACC. We're going to go up in Clemson again, and we're going to shut them down. Our front four is the most dominant front four in college football. Mark it.
You know what you're dealing with down in Clemson, though. You got some big-time NFL talent ready to unleash on any defense.
Yeah.
That's going to be very interesting to see. And listen, they went down there. Kudos to Narduzzi for getting one of those kind of marquee wins. But that is not a place that you want to go, to be honest. I bet you're going to have to.
Even with an empty crowd.
Hey,
even with an empty crowd, it's not a place.
Yeah, let's squeeze in one more here, Chris, before we go. And that would be Pete in Squirrel Hill wants to make a quick point. Pete, go ahead.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Hey, Bob, I know we're up against the gun. Real quick. Opening statement, he talked about what happened in Houston last night, Dodgers and Astros, and he talked about that knucklehead commissioner. Tell him the players, Bob, give me some information and you're off the hook. Didn't that give the players license to weave any tail to tell him anything, okay? How do we know they were telling the truth? Is that dumb or what? Thank you.
All right. Final word to you, Chris.
Listen, I'm almost always on the side of the players. They should not have been granting blanket immunity here because they have made the problem far worse than it could have been had it been handled differently. So now, Major League Baseball, what do you want to go with here? Reaping what they sowed, or they made the bed, now they've got to sleep in it? Get ready for more pitchers to be merely emboldened by Joe Kelly taking a stand and not worried about the suspension he got.
We're out of time, Chris. It's always a pleasure. Thanks. See you on The Fan, and that's going to do it for us. We're back here tomorrow at 10:35. Hope to see you then.